Hello minasan, Hikiyami Moriko desu, and welcome to another indie game. This one's called Burdock, and it has these warnings. So if you don't want to see any of these, or can't see any of these, you can leave the game now. This is a game for the Vtuber Visual Novel Game Jam 2023, and it's by Butterfly Rocket Studios and Friends. It has rockets on the wings. Very nice. Alright, so it's Burdock, right? It's that the name of the... Whoa! Oh, I like this. This is really nice. Also, the begin appears in here. That's really cool. I like it. Let's begin the game. I got it. It is voice acted. It's really cool. I hope you guys can hear it. I'm gonna up the volume. That's cool. That's cool. I like it. I like it. No, it's my name. Leave it alone. Really cool beginning. Prologue. A name for a life. I give you my name. You give me a life. That's good. This is nothing like a fairy tale. The wedding is my own, but filled with a great yawning emptiness. The church altar stands unadorned. No flowers, no friends in the aisles. No sisters either, no weeping Agatha or smiling mouth. No sour-faced Max even. Sure that she is. Emptiest of all other pretty bows, I changed with the stranger standing beside me, because the true contract between us has nothing to do with expressions of love. The body impoverished stranger has a name in the world, and my own name is so little consequent as to appear as a mere X in the parish register. I have never been able to write. Through this bloodless marriage, my settlement's portion secures for my sisters a future free from the destitution of our past. The stranger leveraged that honorable name to find them well-paid positions in respectable houses. In exchange, my own future is now entirely bound to the maintenance of the stranger's pride, for the poverty of a great name is far different than that known by a poor and nameless. I have always put my hand to whatever work might pay for our next meal, but I now understand that certain work is beneath us of a greater standing. Of course, penury is also beneath us with a name. What was a stranger to do, unable to soil their hands with work, but with pockets too empty to pay for the servants' wages? Were it up to me, I should have sold the remote property where we'll be settling and instead bought a small cottage with room for a garden and perhaps some chickens, but the stranger berated me when I suggested this, explaining that a great name must have great house to be of worth, even if the unkept is then inconvenient and expensive. I hate that. But now the strangers must only see them fed, clothed, and while I am bound to them by marriage, my role will be that of a permanent servant. My past will never be again be spoken of, and my relationship to my sister is forever severed, so as not to bring shame upon the name of now stamped upon me like a brand. I admit I understand little of the stranger's reasoning, but it seems clear enough that we each have more wants than wisdom. I do. I have spent my life believing I had nothing. But as I repeat the words of the priest, I wonder now if that was true, or if I'm now giving up my life for nothing but a name. A life for a name, huh? I thought I entered into this arrangement without illusions. I did not think my duties will involve driving. However, I can count one hand the number of times I have ridden in a carriage, and still have fingers left to spare. If I ever did suspect that one day it will be my lot and my loved dove, I suppose it was likeliest the equipage will resemble this run down. The very source of all possible steeds thundering forth in the traces with neither enthusiasm nor speed, nor any more sense of the roadway than I hold in the trembling rein myself. The fog which is the morning crowned the tops of the trees like a wedding veil, now slinks between their trunks like an animal. The horse and I share a distrust of that skulking mist, which now and then stretches out to be obscure the road, dangling in the wheels, resting at the sides of the open carriage, slaking the sea with dew. Between the mist and the shaded twilight of the mountain forest, it is impossible to gauge how far we traveled. There are no markers, only more pitted roads unspooling before us, more trees crowding to either side of us. Except for when they vanish altogether and in their place the edge of a precipice can be glimpsed between the ribbons of swirling fog. Oh, that's too white. My hands are numb with cold. I can taste the frost waiting, suspended in the air. Old and familiar nemesis that is. Unsure exactly how to properly urge the horse on it, I click my tongue at it, gently shaking the reins as I mighty damp. Shit laid off to dry. It has no perceivable impact on our peace, and I took my elbows closer in, trying to consider what little warmth I had left. The stranger I met remains oblivious to my discomfort, snuggling in mud-eaten woolen blankets, nodding up without counter for the impending bad weather, only pleased that the servant who bears their name and costs no wages improperly employed at the reins. I do not share their confidence. What happened? Nothing good, I reckon. Perhaps this entire matter was ill-advised after all. The cold is gone, everything is warm. Am I dead? Dimly I become aware of a terrible weight upon my back, pressing me deep into the moss and brackling of the forest floor, crushing the air from my lungs. An attempt to rise fails, my legs have no feeling, and only one arm responds to my command to push against the weight. Abandoning the effort as futile, I instead strike out, gripping the earth in one hand, dragging myself over knobbed rods and sharp sticks, damp leaves clinging to my face and arm. I'm outpaced by snails, but in motion nevertheless. Eventually, air finds its way into my chest again, rattling noisily in my throat as I finally pull myself clear of the upturned carriage with a final push. I roll and put my back to a rotting stump, stuffed with moss, and survey the wreckage. The horse is nowhere to be found, which comes as a relief. It must broken free as the wrists snap. I surmise hastily. I wish it well in finishing the journey for us. An appendage juts out from beneath the wreck. A cursory glance assures me that it's not mine. The stranger's merit was less fortunate than the horse, it would seem. This sunken forest glade is journey sent for us both. Then, a true even I can read written on the trailing garish red of blood I have traced along the green and brown of the earth, in the limbs which do not answer my calling, and the air which even know it's a struggle to find its sufficient supply. Oh, I'm sorry. With nothing to do but to wait to die, I blink and time passes. You taste like sacrifice. The voice is a whisper in the wind. The sight of trees and water is something false and imagined. A trick of the mind still. I bestir myself and pry open my eyes once more. Oh, hello. Against the wash of crimson, I register a green more verdant than I had previously known. A curiously dark gaze fixed on me with interest. Sacrifice? The word wrenches from my throat with violence, but emerges almost without sound. The odd figure of green nuts tracing my limbs arm with one sharp tipped finger. It comes away instead with my blood, which they then sample with all the fastidiousness and relish of a gourmand at a banquet. Yes, that faint sweetness, sacrifice. The bitterness of regret, a slight tang of selfishness, but sacrifice, willing to sacrifice. It has been some time since I last tasted. The fathomless gaze returns to my face, lips now streaked with crimson. Is it a concept foreign to my kind, you see, quite right in yours? Their chin jerks in the direction of the limp hand extending from beneath the crushed carriage. That one, for example, is served with indolence, that also, which adds little to the flavor. But you? Pardon me, but what are you? Their green head tips to the side like an inquisitive bird, brown furrowing in a ripple of lichen. I have no reason to call myself anything in particular. What do I appear to be? My vision is clouded and I blink rapidly trying to refocus on the form before me. Dying mid-conversation feels innately rude, and I have no desire to offend this creature, whatever they may be. Are you... I mean, it might be a fairy. It's certainly not a human. I don't think it's a friend. Since it's feeding from blood, you know? It looks a little bit like a tree, right? It looks like a little bit like a plant, so it might be a tree. I don't think it's dead. Are you a fairy? The red stains on their lips twist into a smile revealing even white teeth and over-sharp cannons, and a rush of fallen leaves rises around us to a sudden gust of wind. Perhaps. It might be the closest to true in your language. You know, I know when you say fairy, people think on these like fairies with wings and sparkling and cute, but you have to read actual literature to know fairies are terrifying. The dark eyes turn speculative. Do you fear me? I catch my head as the chin tips to my chest, trying to straighten myself and falling. Not especially. I know that I'm dying. It's nice to have company. I thought I would be alone. The fingertips forward, hands clasped between their knees, their face no but a handbreadth from my own. Nothing dies alone. Death is always with the dying, and even if she were not. Oh, death is a woman, good to know. I always have a good relationship with death. There are millions who die in the same moments. Flowers, insects, and the crawling creatures, the winged and feathered, the leviathans. Beneath the sea, and yes, you humans as well. Not one and nothing dies alone, but always in a glorious collective chorus, a crescendo of life giving way to precious impossible and shared silence. A faint sigh flutters across my lips, only a fraction of the air returning to me after. That's nice, thank you. The feathers now hovering over me, my limbs are lifted close to their face as they breathe in their scent of my blood with apparent relish. I could keep you for myself. I can drive that away. Or do you prefer to die? No, I want to live. No, just let me die, come on. The answer is torn from me in a rasping croak, but it is immediate and simple, catching even me off guard. What do I have to live for now? Only myself, I suppose. Is that truly enough? I weigh the question, but though I cannot find it in my place an external value in my life, still, I want to live, and I do not wish to die. The fairy settles on their knees over me, now idly playing with my hair. There will be a cost. I meant it when I said I sacrifice unselfishness referring to my kind. I don't have anything to give. The black eyes fasten on me, arrested at this near distance. I can see that they are flickered with tiny golden lights, almost like stars. I believe you do. My head rolls back against the stump as I return their gaze uncertain. Your name. Give me your name and I will bargain with that for you. They now appear no more than a looming green silhouette, edges tough and indistinct. Can I save the game? Ooh, nice menu, I like it. Give a stranger's name, give false name, remain silent. No. I'll go steal even the art itself, the fog pausing in its endless drifting. The faint murmuration appears in the forest, also quite as if universal pause has been called as we wait the fairy's reply. I'm generous enough to give you another chance to answer, knowing that the only alternative is death. Will you instead give me your name? No. As you will. Then, you're also curious and contain so much contradiction, bravery and cowardice, intelligence and simplicity. I should have liked to keep you, but it's not great matter. The fairy shifts away from me, the green fading away in the darkening glade. Enjoy your death, little sacrifice. I shall see it your bones are clean and polished, and the rest of you put to proper use. Flesh for the hungry, hair for the binding nest, decay to enrich the soil. Maybe it is a tree. The cold had returned to what little of my person I can still feel, and its uncertain breath comes slower and shallower than the last. I feel the impulse to call after them, the word to say goodbye, or perhaps to change my answer, or ask them to stay to the end. I myself cannot clearly determine. Even if I could, I realize the labor of breathing has ceased entirely now. No more words will ever form my lips and tongue. In the stillness, I can hear the sluggish pulse of my own blood, my heartbeat and a low percussion like fading summer rain, growing even more faint. My sight is gone, but finally, I can see that for myself, both grotesque and beautiful. One icy hand moves to cover my eyes, and then there's truly nothing. Okay, let's continue. I like this. Really cool. Continue. What happens if I give you... I don't want to give you my name, really. I gave my name once. I don't want to give it again. What could it be, right? What could be a good choice? Give a stranger's name. The furry snarls, looking back towards the wreckage carried dismissively. That name is not yours, but theirs, and I can taste how little they shared in life. As for your name, Sacrifice, a Gib, false name. My name is Max. Yeah, I'm Max. You can call me Max now, guys. The fairy gives a gentle laugh, the grasses around us rippling and bowing in response. You are wise indeed, but wisdom will not serve you here. The name is Bacan, its owner is not present. Will you give me your own name, or will you die instead? Remain silent. The fatherless eyes narrow. Is it that you cannot speak, or that you will not? A flourish of mist passed my dry lips, filling my broken chest with all the air I had been deprived of. I can't speak. Good. You also know how to taste the power I have, so I ask again, will you give me your name? I guess I have to, right? I don't have other choice. My name is Moriko. The brow of the fairy's face splits in a wide smile. Moriko, my Moriko, little sacrifice. I shall spare you a fraction of my power until the mist clears. One sharp finger begins to trace some form of sigil across my brow, and I flinch as it burns on contact. The mist swirled more densely between us, wrapping around me in the cloak of frigid damp and wind. A plume cuts through my throat and I gasp, taking the cold air in which desperate swallows. For a moment, all I can do is recollect how one is meant to breathe. A mother even newborn babies manage with instructions, and yet I'd find it I was really forgotten. The fairy waits patiently, observing my labor heaving and panting impassively. Once I'm more sure of my voice, I called once, trying to meet them gaze for gaze. Do I get to know your name in return? My teeth are chattering, but my chest now raises and falls as steadily as it used to. The green face becomes sharper and clearer in my vision, eyes crinkling at the corners as in response to a private joke. Perhaps if you can earn it, but first, you must survive. They bite down hard on the path of one iridescent thumb, concluding their sigil on my brow with a strip seal of amber blood, like the sap of a tree. Maybe it is a tree. At once, the cold is shaken from my limbs, warm and feeling returning to fingers and toes with tingling awareness, like water sparkling as it hits hot oil in a pan. Survive? I thought. I revolved the fairy's words in my head, clarity returning to my thoughts as well as my vision. They continued to gaze down at me, inscrutable. You said until the mist clear. They smile as if pleased by a small child who has successfully executed the very simplest of tasks. I did, your precious name. Moriko has bought you time and opportunity. To purchase life beyond that, however, you must first prove yourself worthy of being at the very least my attendant. Should you excel, well then perhaps I shall tell you my name in turn, and confer with it a great share of my power. The enigmatic gaze narrows. But should you fail, your life will dissipate with the clearing of the fog. How can I prove myself then? What qualities will I make me worthy? I am not of noble birth, and I have few talents. Just like me. The fairy rises to their feet in an impossible fluid motion, waving a hand dismissively. The standards whereby you mortals judging yourself at the very little matter here, do not interest me in the slightest. Whatever you have been before, whatever you shall yet become, your present concerns me the same. You must complete 3 tasks. The first, they raise a single sharp finger and indicate the tree line in an eloquent sweeping motion. For the first, you must cross this wood. The second, they withdraw the arm and playfully twine their finger in a whirling stand of mist. For the second, you must cross the air. And last, the fairy cups both hands before their mouth, blowing to the fog away in a swirling wave. For the last, you must cross the water. Only then you shall find the gates to my realm. Feeling enough as to return to my legs, now I risk shifting to my feet. Finding them steady beneath, I rise, looking up at the fairy. Cross the wood, cross the air, and cross the water? It seems simple enough. They chuckle at this, and I feel the ground trembling slightly underfoot with the sound. Does it perhaps it is? Still, since you gave me your name, I shall give you a final bit of assistance. As if it conjure from the air itself, a knot of wood rises in their palm as it grows, through which they break off and extend to me. Gingerly I take it in hand and find that, well, I thought it would. It is weighty, reflecting the dim light of the glade with the clarity of gold. A stone I do not know, an info shimmers at the center, warm as the sun, and besides another gem glistens, cold as starlight. So, this one's right. As I examined the ring in astonishment, I noticed a third final jewel, this one more subtle than the first two, black as a moonless night. It is a favorite trinket of mine. If you should find yourself unable to complete any of the tasks on your own, turn it thrice upon your finger and help shall come. Be warned, however, little sacrifice. Abruptly closing the distance between us, they take my chin in hand, tilting my face gently upwards. The strange voice pitches low like the rumbling of a distant storm. All things have a cost. You want to be wary of seeking easier pathways without knowing the toll they shall exact in the end. With this, they release me, stepping away. Their silhouette once more begins to blur and shift, and though I scrub out my eyes with the back of my hand, they appear not cleared for it. I wish the luck of the trees we do not fall to fire, of ravage which escape the snare, and of birds which survive the lighting. My Moriko, my little sacrifice perhaps, then we'll meet again at the gates of my kingdom. With a final flourish of grey mist, the brilliant green of their form is swallowed up by the glade as if never was anything else, and I'm alone. Alone. In this forest. The first task, cross the wood. Just the one wood, not the woods, one wood. Let me save the game in case something happens. The fiery gone and my death postponed for the time being, I sink into the luxury of a moment's reflection. It doesn't take much to immediately find myself questioning how real this situation can possibly be. Yet, just behind me lies a pile of broken timber that not so very long was a carriage, and beneath it remains of a stranger was not so very long was my spouse. And resting in the palm of my hand, a bit of jewelry that resembles wood, two of the familiar gems winking into one light and the third absorbing into shadow. Perhaps I'm dead after all, perhaps this is purgatory. All the same though, I see no way forward without first fulfilling this assigned task. After the briefest hesitation, I took off the plain wedding ring that was placed on my hand just this morning, replacing it with the fairy's token. Now I'm married to the fairy, right? The simple band weighs heavy in my hand, and reluctantly I draw nearer the only part of my dead spouse visible beneath the wreckage. Crouching beside it, I place the wedding band in the hollow of their palm, my fingers inadvertently brushing against their, which already are gelid and stiff. I try to suppress my shoulders set on showing them at least that much respect. You were never more than a stranger to me, but I'm sorry you might end this way. I wish you well on your journey. I was preparing to achieve my thoughts to the fears of my task, but instead find my vision suddenly clouded, the mist now dark as coal. Leaving so soon? How little your bows have meant. I was trying to face the voice, but it seems to come from the very air. Still, I recognize it. I'm sorry, in some eras, the spouse was buried alive alongside their fallen other half. A gesture of proper respect. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for you to die. I'm sure if you still had life left after accident, the fairy might then have... The fairy? They can only seek to slake their own selfish desires, to supplement the which humans have, and they will forever lack. So I'm guessing the fairy killed my husband? You have an inferior kind of manner to you, a sense of subservience. It is why I chose you for my partner. You pose no threat. You give up what you have so very, very easily. The cloying smoke and fog sides like a drafty chimney. But now I find those traits most inconvenient. My name is all that remains of me, and you're all that remains to bear it. If you insist on flaunting your inherent vulgarity by outliving me, I demand you at least return to civilization as my living monument, and see that I am not forgotten and left to rot here in the woods. The air stings my eyes, sticking in my chest in a viscous haze, which, cut through I cannot seem to expel. How would you have me do that? I live only because of the intervention of the fairy. If I disobey their command, your death is my service will be preferable to your survival in theirs. But do I have a solution to propose? I turn prepared to stray away from the noxious fumes, but the death hand suddenly turns, gripping my ankle and causing me to fall, the circle of my ring pressing around, imprinting my skin. I'm not yet finished speaking, my love. You will do well to listen. If nothing else, you owe me that, as the one who authored my demise. I never claimed I could drive. It was you who... Silence. What I have to say is your own benefit, or do you prefer to live in the service of the fairy? I'm left with a reply to this, beyond choking still on the pull of the fog. Good, you will find that the remaining broken traces are of iron chain. The one who will be your master cannot stand against cold iron. What you must do, then, is to grab some fragment of the broken traces at your ankles and wrists and conceal it beneath your clothes. Then, once you have completed your task and stands at the gateway of their realm, they shall grant you life in full, but find they are unable to drag you with them. I struggle to keep my leg free, but cannot handle it like a mancle, clammy and unyielding. How do you know so much about the fairy? The voice drops back to a growl. I know, because I know that. She is most displeased to have you snatched out of her grasp so rudely, and I'm helping you, ingrate that you are. The fairy is bound by their bargain with you. Whether you know it or not, complete your task and they will ensure you shall live. It is up to you to outsmart them by this measure and then make sure your way back to civilization. As if those by water, the darkness and discomfort abruptly washed away, and a chill wind and my ankles spread to the hand, going limp once more. I cannot stay longer as I am dead. I cannot force your hand, but I shall hope that once you survive and find yourself in possession of my estate, you will at least send someone to collect my remains and see to I receive a proper burial. Remember my words though, and remember that you all that is left to my name. You owe me. With that, they are truly gone. The hand lies flaccid against the earth, that ring I left, dull with soil and almost hidden beneath one feverishly pale arm. Okay. We have to think this through. It might be the fairy trying to trick me. But also it's my only chance to get rid of the fairy, right? So grab myself in the iron chain. I really do not want to call anyone my master. Searching the wreckage is not difficult to turn off the broken chain using the remains of the axle. I break it up into pieces smaller, still linking and knotting them at my ankles and wrists, then tugging the tattered fabric of my wedding attire over them once more. Then setting the unpleasant encounter aside, I redirect my thoughts to the task at hand. A quick scan shows that the trail and beyond naturally dense and wholly impassable. Yet crossing through a wood seems simple enough. One only needs an axe, a pathway, a compass. Okay, I guess we need a pathway, right? Like if we find a pathway, it's sure to lead outside. I don't think I could be axing out of these trees, right? And I don't think a compass will work if I don't know where I'm going, so a pathway. Every forest is traversed by creatures, if not people. Surely there must be at least by a deer path or other feral highway I might use. I scanned the densely packed tree line, finding it as unyielding as a wall. Or not. Are there no animals whatsoever within these woods then? Does the fairy eat them all, perhaps? I give an involuntary shiver, but then forcefully square my shoulders. No, there must be something. I only have to look more closely. Unable to come with a better course, I begin walking, ever watching for some breaking in the wood. There, a head of grazing deer. I jog forward and they raise their heads, looking in my direction with concern while poised for flight. A handful of bucks among the group lowered their heads, antlers displayed threateningly. I stop, instinctively holding my hands up in surrender. No, I don't mean any harm. I just want to see where you all go. The dear woman. Ooh, dear woman. And where should we go, human? My head jerks in the direction of the low melodic voice, and my surprise I see at those standing before me regularly, half again as tall as many of the bucks. The dear woman. Stand down, you lot. I will handle this. Hello, dear woman. Before my wandering gaze, the dog grows taller, still hindquarters shortening and limbs shaping into a more human form. Her face becomes rounded and beautiful, even as her eyes remains weary and contemptuous. There, now that I better resemble your kind, you shall answer me. What exactly are your intentions? My mouth is dry as I swallowed several times, wetting my tongue to reply. I only want to cross through this wood, Miss Deer. One long velvet ear flickers her dark eyes narrowing. I'm a majesty, not a miss, and no one crosses this wood, human. I feel my face fall. I suppose that would be too easy, wouldn't it? I apologize, your majesty. Her expression softens infinitely in response. I will forgive you for the impertinence as you are good human, and it is true that there once was a church with clearing the paths, but... I look up eagerly within her eyes, and she sighs whirling response. That was a fool, however. He desired me, and when I denied him, he sought to entrap me. Man, when you really want to do it with the dear woman. Her gaze surfaces rapidly. I feel like it's a slash of my own perception before it can flinch away. He set a snare for me, the fool. But I will not be ensnared, however I clever the trap. I only sever to curse him. It only serves to curse him. A faint frightening smile touches her lips, and I feel the air chill. I broke free with ease, and when next he raised his axe, it slipped and his own head was severed from his shoulders. She gives a graceful shrug, her gaze now as tired as eternity. Still, I will admit it's inconvenient for my hair not to longer have pathways related, to be clear. So, he's dead? The father's dark eyes fix on my own. How would you punish such a one, if it were you had so a trap? That is by far too quickly and simple. He still lives yonder, where he ever has. The magnetic gaze fastens on something in the distance, and following its direction, I spell a small hut, overgrown and dilapidated. Oh. Is it all the answer I can manage, and it comes only with great effort? Still, I must cross this wood somehow. There must be some solution. I clear my throat, scrapping together the remaining threads of my determination. I assume he cannot see the good pathways any longer, being without a head? One word rises. You assume correctly, human. He can hardly raise himself, much less an axe. Would you... Where's his head now? The other brow follows it at first, but her eyes glint at amusement rather than malice. Right away, 100 years since. Before I can react, she raises a finger to stop my words. That is not to say a replacement cannot be found. If one were resourceful enough, I could persuade to breathe life into some other form. I feel a slow encouragement, but quickly... Do I go back for the head of my husband? The fairy said that everything has a cost. What price would you exact for the aid then? She smiles at this, glares, and warms us a picnic on a summer day. You are well instructed. With the long passage of time, however, my anger has cooled, and all this will benefit my hair. The causes block meter answered my riddles to prove yourself not a fool, and I shall tell you where he might find a new head. I blink rapidly. Riddles to prove I'm not a fool? Her letter rings clear as a bird song. Indeed, I will not suffer fools in my wood. You needn't answer all three correctly if you're not so wise, but you must achieve at least one right answer to prove you're not a fool either. I force myself to return her smile, hoping to show I am ready for such a challenge, though my hands tremble with anxiety lest I fail. I accept. Then, what is the first riddle? Let me save the game. There's no other pages, it's only one page of saves. Page 1. And how do I go to page 2? Page 2, here it is. Okay. Will you answer on your own, or do you wish for multiple choice options? Multiple choice. Her face setting once more to regal seriousness, she intones with the manner of a poet. What is it that a child might hold in one hand, which once both are full grown, much taller shall stand? What is that a child might hold in one hand? So it needs to be something small, like an acorn, right? Which once both are full grown, much taller shall stand. An acorn becomes a tree, right? I don't think a friend necessarily becomes taller than just an acorn. Quite good. Now for the next. You might give it, I might take it. You might keep it, or else break it. Whatever its value, it carries this fee. Only as good as you make it you be. A name. Are you quite sure? It's not a name? You can give a name, you can take a name. I don't think you can break a name, right? One last. Some are born with noble ones, some with none at all. Some outlive their beaters, others with them fall. It cannot be used to summon, although it is not spelled. It can be used to summon, although it is not spelled. That this is a name, right? And when it's accompanied with fire, you'll want to guard your spell. It's your name. I got the other one wrong. Well, you're better than a fool, if not quite wise. Consider your end of the bargain upheld. I will render your aid. I am grateful for your help, your majesty. She gives me a thin smile. I'm glad to find I have not wasted my time upon you. Now, the answer to your question is a simple one. Anything at all which belongs to the woodsman may stare for a head. If it's a fashion with eyes, ears, mouth, and nose, but it must belong to him, and not to my wood. You understand? I will give him nothing that is my own. I understand, but what will come as his then? I don't think he planted or fashioned for himself. More I shall not say. I am being quite generous enough given my history with him and lack of history with you. I bow my head, feeling deference will better suit me than insistence at this point. Thank you, Your Majesty. We shall tarry here only a short time longer until the clover is scrubbed close. Hurry and find the woodsman and you head. If you wish to, I will not be here if you return too late. And you have the little magic to give life to when you head on your own. Nothing, I bowed my head once more, then turned towards the hut. The building seemed even worse repaired than I observed at distance, windows broken. Okay, you have crops here, so maybe you have a scarecrow, right? The building seemed even worse repaired than... Blah, blah, blah. Okay, hello? Stealing myself, I knock on the door, then the lift latch, peering into the gloom with trepidation. Nothing moves. Turning back, I wander into the overgrown garden. Where could he be? To feel useless with the body shut a door, I begin searching for a potential head. On the overgrown garden. What should I pick up? A pumpkin? So is it something he will plant himself? Surely pumpkins are native to the woods. I select the roundest, most robust specimen of the group. The woodsman will have been pumpkin-headed to try and capture Her Majesty. She'd like this, I think. The stalk bites painfully into my palms with the tiny horns, but after bending it back and forth many times, I am eventually able to dislodge it. The rigid orange face stares back at me, begging for expression. Proceed. I place my hand on the vegetable confidently, something he planted his... Oh! I dread that he will be hidden staring horror as I originally mistook for a mass of rubbish and drags mounted against the hut rises precipitously, taking the clear form of a man without any head at all. Oh, hello, Mr. Woodsman. Bending at the waist, the figure sweeps to stretch arms back and forth along the earth until eventually one questing hand brushes the edge of the pumpkin. Grasping it carefully, he lifts it up, straightening back and the overwhelming hate and offering it to me wordlessly. Little surprised that he's speechless, he salts entirely without a head. You want... The headless form makes no further movement and continues to offer its head in silent supplication. Hesitantly, I accept. Of course, you cannot hear, then shall I carve your ears first? Seating myself on a worn wooden stool, I attempt to cover up my discomfort with a barrage of friendly chatter as I use a rusted nail. The first carved circles in the back form of ears. Then rock holes for eyes, slit for a nose, and a stripping of word-facing crescent to serve as a mouth. There we are. Let us hurry back to Her Majesty, lest the herd leap before us. I tuck the head under the elbow, turning back towards where the deer were last gazing. Before I can move, however, the shambling figure once more extends his arms towards in a sweeping motion, and before I can realize what is he about, one rough and heavily calloused hand has seized my own wrist. I will not release it, though I instantly try to shake myself free. Please, can you... The grip does not loosen, but the woodsman makes no further move, standing still, as if carved from stone. As the first blush of panic passes, reason downs on me for this unexpected seizure of my person. Right, I guess you can just follow my lead the way. I'll try to take it slowly. I begin to pick up my way back to the herd, and the woodsman trails to step or two behind, latched to my wrist like a overlatched, frightened child. I do my best to disregard him. I did not say you should bring him along with you, human. I howled doggedly, prying at the clenched fingers on my wrist, and when this fails, bringing one foot down hard to the other woodsman's step. Finally, the manacled grip loosens enough for me to break away, and I quickly skip well out of reach. The minor tussle at least had the set effect of returning the dear woman's expression to one of patient amusement, rather than the cold disdain we were met with. I'm very sorry, Your Majesty. I did not think that it will be breathe life into the head without also being attached to it. I gestured comprehensively at the fumbling form. She smiled coldly. My power is such that I can easily manage to give new life to his head, even when the rest of him as far away as the world's end. I turn over the pumpkin in my hand, suggesting a violent shudder as best as I can. I do not mean to doubt your abilities to do anything you please, Your Majesty. Rather, I doubt my own ability to carry a living head in my own hands, and I change with the act of retaching it to myself. The smile doesn't step forward, taking the crudely carved form from me. I spend so little time around you humans, I forget how strangely delicate your sensibilities can be. You waste your guards, you destroy one another, and all manner of other creatures you pilfer from the earth, whatever your hands can touch. Yet you tremble inside when confronted with anything that least bit extraordinary in your view, even when it poses no threat. It is almost charming. She dips her head and is trying to make sense of the working within my own, then with the flick of an ear dismisses humankind once more. Close your eyes, then if you do not wish to be frightened for what I am to do would surely frighten a human to death. Silly as you are, and your life hangs spontaneously even now. She waits, watching me, and so I close my eyes as instructed. The magic forms first in a sense of gathering quiet and warm, hypnotic and comforting, then a building pressure that crackles in my ears and constrains me. Just as I begin to fear I will be crushed, the pressure breaks the shattering, blinding burst of light, rushing cold and holding sound. The shift is so violent that even with my eyes squeezed shut and hands clapped over my ears, I'm driven forcefully to my knees and realize that I'm holding and sobbing together, screaming until my throat is left dry and raw. The horrific yearning for the initial quiet and warmth in a physical pain that lacerates each of my senses in turn, ricocheting through my body and tearing my mind to pieces. When I wake, I find myself slopped on the forest floor once again. Yeah, it looks kinda nice. Opening my eyes, my vision is filled with a pumping, its expression somehow combining deep concern, despite cruelly formed with lineaments. The dear woman. Oh, you live after all. Pushing myself into a sitting position, I shake my head trying to clear off the lingering threads of her magic. I think I do. I congratulate you. Many do not survive the magic that confers life. It is a tricky business for the great author of such matters yearn for balance. A life for a life. I gave my life away once already. The words are muttered but should not sadly in response. And you have been gifted it again, though whether or not you keep it only the mist shall know. My hair will not move on, women. I hope that this fool whose savior you are aids you in turn. For the sake of my wood, if nothing else. To my surprise, the woodsman, fitted with a new head on his shoulders and no longer hovering over me, turns to the dear woman and lowers himself before her on hands and knees, his soft head almost touching the ground at her feet. I'm eternally sorry, my queen. Never again will you importunate my over-ambitious desires. I hereby dedicate my life in your service, and assure that the wood shall flourish and the pathways will ever lead to those glades which are almost lost. His voice is guttural and hollow as I might expect to emit from such a source, but the words are rife with earnest feeling. She sighs, but her frosty expression shows no sign of melting. Get up, fool, and see that you keep your word this time. Not for several centuries more than I'm likely to forgive you, but for now I shall tolerate your presence in my wood, so long as you do not cause me any further inconvenience. Now go about your work, and be grateful you are at least useful, even if no amount of reflection can make you wise. He bends his head to the earth once more, then rises to execute a surprisingly graceful bow in my direction. Human, as it is you who have secured for me this opportunity to make amends for past wrongs, I shall clear a path through the wood for you as you seek. I am grateful for your determination and compassion, but in your service to Her Majesty's needs, as well as my own. We could no less have found a resolution and moved forward. My offense was too deep, and her anger too great. The dear woman snorts contemptuously, but still turns nodding in my direction. You at least have done well. I wish you luck in your journey, and I hope you shall live to see another sunrise. Thank you for your generosity, Your Majesty. She smiles again, clearly pleased with my deference. I have done what I can for you, human. Now I will ask you to leave this wood, and hope you shall never return to it again. With a final regal glance, she turns away, and the herd files in a line behind her, moving forward through the clearing as one. To my great surprise, I find that they move on. A gap is revealed in the wall of the forest. The woodsman works quickly, it would seem. Listening close, I can hear the distant thumping strike of his axe and the rustle of trees, and the mist themselves feels lighter than they did. My blood runs cold as the tale repeats. The mist feels lighter than they did, and I have 2 more tasks that I must complete before the mist clears. Pressing myself off, I quickly step out of the glade and into the forest gloom. The second task: cross the air. I'm hearing voices. Voices in the game. Voices. The pathway now clear for me, I proceed into an abyssal constraint through it is. If this is the path I must cross to survive, then a grouping of tiny fair folk of bright countenance and therapy before me. Pixies. Are you the one bid to cross this wood? Yeah. The pixies laugh like silk bells. Of course, there's no other of your kind in this wood, no other of your kind in quite long. It is a rare honor indeed. I shift uncomfortably immediately, half dozen of their band wasted by sleeves pulling me forward again. You should not fear us, no, no. You should have come far, but have too far to go. We know all pathways, all the roads, and that one does not lead to ease. I was surprised impulse to shake them off and instead observing the tiny critters closely. They have no wings, yet seem to be able to traverse the air and easily as the ground. Maybe they can lift me up? Each time they speak, it is a small chorus, which I assume it's because their individual voices will be imperceptible to me, standing so much larger in comparison. What do you mean it does not lead to ease? The little figures pull up to me with more ferocity than before, their voices taking in a coaxing tone. Come with us, come along. We're much kinder than that other one. With us you might be lulled with song, and treats more decadent than any you know. Why bury the task ahead? Why shall you struggle so? Come on, come away, and turn your steps instead toward apple sweets and dances gay. Remember, gay for happiness, not. A second path opens before us, this one literally with leaves of crimson and gold and dappled with sunlight that breaks through the mist in shafts of shimmering warmth. Will this take me to my destination? The little heads bob eagerly in unison. It is the shortest path to your journey's end by far more pleasant and much less long. The fairies said nothing to me of possible shortcut when they assigned me the task, but then they had no cause to mention it, either assuming the pixies are telling the truth. I don't trust the pixies. I never trust pixies. Have you read anything? Don't trust the pixies. Nope. Politely decline, brush the pixies aside and keep walking. Politely decline. I did my hand a quick bow, formulating my reply carefully. I'm grateful for the kind and very generous offer, and I would like nothing more than to keep company with you. However, I think I must continue on the harder part after all. I have already completed the first of the 3 tasks. I have to believe myself capable of completing the remaining 2 before the mist clears as well. The pixies murmur along themselves, then release my lips, still full of restless motion. But their good cheer unimpaired. We shall not stop you. No, not with regret. We'll let you go, but since you are so nice to us, so nice and kind, we're willing to part with this advice. When given 2 choices, which both seem bad, 2 more crop up just behind. For rather than take this one or take the other, you might take both or neither. I note again, committing the words and careful to memory nonsense so that it seemed. Thank you, and I wish you well in your revels. Merely the pixies wave off, wending to their way along the sunny path, the peeping chorus of their words drifting back to me faintly. To choose the path, the longer path, meet your journey's end. Still, we hope you shall find time will till the end. The mist begins to gather more nearly as I walk on, even the trees crowd less closely. What's your step, human? The voice is a smooth one, if thin and scarcely louder than those of the pixies. I stop looking around myself to try and identify the speaker. Then the fog shifts against my feet, and to my dismay, I find that I am standing no more than a step away from the edge of a cliff. I stumble backwards precipitously, and the clouding mist breaks enough for me to realize I'm on the top of a chasm. It's never impossible to guess in the fog. Thank you for saving me. It seemed a wasteful death, and I'm up here above you. Tilting my head back, it seemed I see the reaching branches of a towering dead tree, warp and tilting pathway of the earth. Several of the larger limbs already collapsed around in a display of ongoing rot and decay. Okay, I was thinking I could maybe climb the tree, but if I climb the tree, I'm gonna die. The tree? No, there. Whoa. Barely visible, I identify a dark speck suspended in the air between 2 of the remaining branches. Yeah, you can see the spider web here. Are you a spider? The teen voice becomes sharp with impatience. Yes, so I'm so also far more than that. Do you greet other humans as you have greeted me, human? I pause. No, I must often greet others by name. What is your name then? Just because you're willing to surrender yours to that other one, do not think I shall so readily offer you mine. It is no matter of what one is called, but how. And you address me as a human addresses a spider. Something you perceive as small and lesser. It is a terribly off-putting attitude to take, given that I have to spare you a useless death. I'm very sorry, Spider. I did not mean to be disrespectful. Is there a title you prefer to go by? The spider considers this a long moment. The spider will do, though I am not averse to compliments either. I take this in stride. Generous spider, can you tell me if there is a way to cross this chasm? This form of honor seems to please her, and she lowers herself from the heights of the dead tree, the silver strands of her thread glinting moodily in an uncertain light. Much improved, and I can, though it will be a better question to ask if I shall. I bring myself a little nearer, reflecting that a lifetime of work in often humiliating services to others has left me surprisingly well prepared for this exchange. Lovely kind spider, are you willing to help me, unworthy as I am? To my alarm, she draws up words again as if to leave. I say I'd like to receive praises for myself, not self-abasement from you. It does not further compliment me to make yourself pathetic, for you are small and I am large. You can be of no use to me at all. Shame plucks at my heart, head rushing to my neck and cheeks in a wash. Yet I know so many will raise themselves by the grinding dough of others. Though perhaps spiders are more discerning in their preferred form of flattery than people are. In either case, I must smoke this over. You are small and I am large, but you are no useless in my eyes at all, wise spider. She lowers on her tread once more. I was speaking figuratively, human. But you will cease insulting yourself when you ought instead compliment me. I may persuade to help you. If you will advise me, thoughtful spider, I will appreciate it. I have made it this far, but I do not see a clear way forward. She drops on farther still now, hanging level with my eyes, twisting gently on her thread in the twirling the mist, catching on it and studying with sparkling point of view. For a human, you learn quickly enough, I suppose. I shall advise you how to cross the chasm. However, it will be for you to decide how to go about it. I listen carefully, tilting forwards to catch her voice. There are two herbs which grow close by, each with a different magical effect. When consumed, one enlarges and the other will shrink. The effects are temporary and last but a short while. Still, it will be long enough that were you and I the same size, I could whip from your sail, much like my young ones have, to catch the wind and free them on new territories. If I were the same size, you will do this then? I cannot do it while I am small and you are a large human. Either I must grow in size or you must shrink. There is no other way of going about it. An uneasy feeling settles in my stomach, but I do not see a ready alternative. Yeah, if I become the same size of the spider, she can eat me or kill me, right? Knowledgeable spider. Can I not simply throw myself into a giant and step over the chasm? That's what I was thinking. The idea is shaken from the stand of her whip with the force of her ladder. Certainly, if you have time enough to travel all through the woods collecting a great deal and spend another week consuming all you have gathered. I frown at this. Why is that, learned spider? Why should it work on you but not on me? Man, this game really feels like reading a book. She twitches on her stance testily. Surely humans have heads only for decoration. Will clothes of yours become me equally well? Or my 6 fits you? The air which will make you small is by far more potent than the which will make you a colossus. It will increase my size to match yours only because I'm so much thinner to begin with. Yeah, it makes sense. And a small amount of the air for you is a... Yeah, it makes total sense. Very well written. I would ask you the question that hangs most heavily on my mind, and I finally decide to give it a voice. Good and gentle spider, if I were made the same size, what will keep you from eating me instead of eating me? Nothing. It is after all my nature. But you have no other choice, do you? The uneasy feeling curdles into a bright red. I don't know, cunning spider. Perhaps where can these herbs be found? She says happily on her silk, how many legs roaming the air with glee. Not far off from you at all. I'll just a short walk back to the way you came. If you look on the left-hand side, you will eventually spy a clump of green spiked brambles with reddish fruit. Do not eat the fruit, but bring the leaves, and that shall make me grow. Some little further to the right, you shall find a bushel of golden mushrooms. Break them off and bring them instead. The bark they have formed upon that will make you small. Thank you, I shall go look. I turn the parcel over in my head as I search for the same herbs. Too soon I find the spiked green brambles studded with wine dark reddish fruit. I want to take the fruit. I mean, she told me not to take the fruit. I kinda want to see what happens if I take the fruit. Take the leaves. I'm no closer to finding the answer when I spot the golden mushrooms. Remove the mushrooms and peel away a piece of bark that grew. Still unsure of the best course, I return to the principal listing items. I find the spider has been busy in essence herself instead of spinning on a single strand at the mercy of the wind. She has tethered into a trunk of the tree, the ground and her branch, and is now employed with weaving lovely patterns in the air, her silk so fine that it seems to wink in out of being on a whim. You have returned. Are you not ready to proceed? I hold the herbs before me, looking down with a knit brow and trying to determine what course will be best. I throw Bud over the chasm edge, give her the leaves, then eat the bark myself. Check on the bark, give her the leaves. Chew on the bark, give her the leaves. Offer her the bark, then eat the leaves myself. Offer her the bark, eat the leaves. Man, I kinda want to do this one. That is your choice then? Disappointing. I wish you luck in crossing your own human. She abandons her new way of absconding back to her first in silence. Only one action left then. No. Let me load the game. Seeing no other possible path forward except to trust the spider will knock of her nature, I offer the herb. Only half a breath later, I feel myself bound to get closer to her as she begins to loom before me, larger and larger in my view. Her mane is glistening and all fastened on me with undistinguished lodge. Her voice is no longer thin and smile to my hearing, but blooming and all-encompassing. Do not tremble in fear, human. At least now your death will not be wasteful. Yeah, I thought she would kill me. Animals will always follow their nature. The more I struggle against them, the more entangled I become in the threads of her silk, until I am so closely bound that I am entirely robbed of motion, and only able to watch in terror as her cherical teeth draw near me, ribboned with potion. I am dead. Okay. Continue. I feel like I fucked up in not grabbing the mushrooms and everything. What if I... Her web trembles with the force of her indignation. I reckon my early recommendation of you learning quickly, for you listen not at all. Never mind, you're not even worth eating, and I thought how late you die a wasteful death from the start. She abandons her web, absconding back to hers. Okay. What can I do now? No. I don't want to use the ring. Okay, yeah, I think I fucked up from the previous. Because if I draw both of them, it's not. Eat the leaves myself, give her the leaves. Okay, if I become small or she becomes bigger, she's gonna eat me right away, right? What was the last time I saved? Here? Take the fruit? I'll tell you quickly which parts were needed, and yet you bring me to the very portion. I said not to. Her web trembles with force and her indignation. I reckon my early recommendations of you learning quickly, for you listen not at all, never mind. There must be a way to... Okay, because if I offer her the bark, she's gonna say no, right? Because it's the one that makes her small. If I offer her the bark... Is this the one? For a moment, seeing her looming large and treating my vision, just clicking anticipation, pleasure, and reading with potion. But then they continue to loom larger and larger, still to draw them more and more abstract, like clicking just still as through. Yeah, because I have to become small at the same time she becomes big. You. Her voice in the rumble of thunder deafening and splitting the sky itself. Her laughter is not less so. You have tricked me, you, the human who's chose to be small. I told you before that if you're small and I large, I have no use for you, and that it has come to pass is the case indeed. You're not worth the eating, being no less than a bite, so wise of you, so clever. The wave shakes with her louder, and I'm shaking along with it. You have used my own words against me, and I'm truly as generous as you have said before. And I kind and gentle too, now that my nature is not stirred to use, yes, pray. My intention is to help you remain unsullied, and I'm very happy to help you continue. Yeah, I wanted to try this at the beginning, but I also wanted to try like throwing both of them to see what happens. With a quick motion of her many legs, she severs my bones one by one until one single strand remains. Okay. Fare you well, human, and remember my words. That which is small is not the less mighty for it. When I speak, it is from the depths of my heart. Good spider, I will remember, and I never more shall I shoot your kindness past, but instead know that despite the limits of nature, they have potential to be much more. I am not too far to hear the reply, but her waving arms convey her farewell. Okay. The effects of the air proved to be very limited, and I only barely arrived at the other side before outgrowing my silk, colliding again the lip of the chasm. Okay, that's two. This one was slightly more complicated than the other. And the last one. It was only 3 tasks, right? Cross the water. At the lake, I moved from the edge of the chasm, pulling myself along the earth with effort before rising one more to my feet. That's now 2 of the tasks I have accomplished. I have crossed the wood and crossed the earth. Next comes. Listening closely, hear the gentle lapping of waves upon the shore and spy the glittering water ahead reaching fog. I'm gonna be reading a little bit faster because I'm running out of time to play the game. Listening closely, I heard the gentle lapping of waves upon the shore and spied the glittering of water ahead, waiting in fog. Crossing water and I cannot swim. Arriving at the top of purple shore, I squint into the whirling mist. Briefly, I spot a Burdock island in the center of the lake, bright as emerald before being veiled once more, and which seems likely to my intended destination. Ooh. A face breaks through the dark mirror surface of the lake, and a beautiful and distinctly inhuman gaze fixes on me curiously. Merrow man. What are you? His voice is supple and appealing, suggestive of pleasant company and abundant charm, and seems to emerge almost from the water. You know that's what mermaids or mermen do, right? I'm a person, a human. 2 separate sets of lids flicker across the shimmering gold of the eyes. That explains it. I thought you were an extraordinary looking sort of animal. I have never before met one of your kind, a person, a human. Welcome to my home. Thank you, Sir Merrow. I appreciate your hospitality very much. I do not add that I am not sure whether or not to trust it given my experiences along this journey. The Merrow man lies in a silver ridge of foam he dips below the surface, popping up again in a little closer to the shore where I stand. His squint glitters serious descent when the light catches it, and his voice turns honeyed and coaxing. Won't you come play with me, a person, a human? Though I feel the pull of his loneliness and lunging, I shake my head firmly. No, I'm sorry. I have an appointment I must keep. The face lowers into the water, and he blows bubbles perpetually before speaking again. Why must you keep it? What appointment must you keep? I point out to the other lake, though I cannot see the island through the fog. I must cross this water and reach that island in the center. The runways shine withering further still. Oh, is it the other one you seek? I'm looking for the fairy, yes. His voice becomes the wail of a frightened child. But I like you, a person, a human, and the other gives you the one bag that lands upon their isle. The desire to give in buffets around me, pulling my heartstrings and whispering through my mind. I bite down hard on my leaf, and I try to direct my thoughts on the sticking pain instead. After a short while, the emotional gale lightens and falls away. The Merrow man sighs in succession of the spreading ripples. It seems you have resolved the same. And your kind are closely estranged. What is it you wish? Shall I carry you hence? I mean, I know I shouldn't trust him, but like, I don't know if there's a different way, so let's... I think this is gonna kill me, but... My shoulder sucks. Ah, no, the music changed. I will very much appreciate your help in conveying me there, yes. I'm dead, right? I'm dead. I'm 100% dead. I went into the water, picking my way carefully past the reeds and over the 6 stones. The Merrow vanishes once more, racing immediately beside me. He grasps me by the waist with cold webbed hands, and with surprising strength they took me beneath once one scaled arm and dives me deep beneath the lake's surface. I know of all sorts of wonders here, shining stones and ancient bones, and which fish are the sweetest. Despite being fully submerged, his voice still rings as clear as before, radiant now with triumph and delight. I struggle in his grip, but the vice-like hold prevents me least movement from my arms, and all I can do is stretch my legs uselessly as they tangle in the pond wet as we pass. I know all we dwell here too, and I am tired of all I know. But you must know so many new things, strange creature that you are. Tell me your odd tales, and I shall sing you my own in turn, and you may stay as long as you please. What little hair I had grasped in surprise before I rudely running out, I give up the effort of keeping twisting my head in an attempt to look at him, but the water is too dark to see through, or my vision is now too clouded. And you still insist on being taken to the other after saying all that? I can share instead. I shall take you then, but not before. I can no longer hold my breath, and I inhale my water rushes into my chest with searing pain. It's if I were boiling, I cannot cope to spell it, the fatal attempt only serving to fill me with more of the burning water. The Merrowman's voice reaches through my panic, heavy with concern. We are not even a quarter of the way into the lake, and already you are dying? I make no answer, nor overcome with drowsiness and recognizing the icy presence of death. Alas, it's a pity you shall join my collection of dead things instead of living ones. I hope you were made of stored stuff. The Merrowman's words reach only with a dim, flickering final awareness, and the dead snuffs out, and there is truly nothing. Yeah, I know that was going to kill me. I just wanted to see what happened. You know, I like to see like the bad endings in games, and these are not precisely bad endings, but they are interesting nonetheless. Charming and friendly thought the Merrowmances, I held the little dove that accepting even his offer of fight would see me quickly drown instead. I'm very grateful for your kind offer of help, but I must decline that too. The hypnotic eyes flash with disappointment, and his tail rises upon the water and then viciously slaps down again, sending and rolling waves which crashes upon the shore and laps at my feet. I press myself for another sticky stitch, biting down once more on my still smarting lips. But I want to keep you for myself, a person, a human. I will show you such wonders. I fall a step further away from the water, and he turns his back to me, swimming farther out, calling back from within the mist. Well, if your kind is so cruel and obstinate, perhaps you will not treat me as a playmate after all. I wish you luck in crossing a person, a human, and if you fail, well, perhaps it will not be too late to change your mind, if you beg sweetly enough. I wait until I am quite sure he does not going to return to sea myself among the grass, trying to determine my next course as the lake gently laps at my feet. If I can cross the wood and cross the air, I must also be capable of crossing the water. I only want for... Pardon me, mortal. May I ask for your aid? My surprise is being addressed almost caused me to fall in the lake, and I were looking around for the new speaker as I scrambled back to my feet. Whoa, what is that? I'm struggling to find a natural ball of fire, and lightning has formed immediately beside me, crackling and reeking strongly of sulfur. Ah! The orb dances before him, my apparent supplication dimming and flickering pitifully in response to my alarm. It's a wisp, yeah, it's a will-o-wisp, right? No, I mean you no harm. It is only that I don't know how to make my presence known beyond light. And sometimes I cannot be seen if you do not look for me first. Other times I cannot be seen if you look, but I never know myself which I shall be. It is terribly inconvenient. Feeling embarrassed by my earlier fear, striking again the crying amongst the flames and small bolts of electricity. Something like a face scrunched and apologetic. It's a kind of a cute face. I would rather inhabit a more consistent form, and it's not for the reason I beg your aid. I'm unwilling to surrender my own form to you, if that's what you're asking. The wisp flares and sparks, turning first pale and the light as winter dawn, and then crimson as a summer sunset. Not at all. You already inhabit your form, which makes it far too crowded for me to possess in comfort. Rather, I will have to help in constructing a form of my own, being as your living thing and better understand such matters. The warp and shifting visage contours. Can I make you into a boat? Can I give you a boat shape and you can take me across the lake? The fire gathering down the way yellow, the burning scent so like rotting eggs, no worse than ever. Let me save real quick. I'm sorry I don't have time to help you. What is it that you want from me exactly? The light flares, sending skittering threads of lightning dancing up and down in my arms. My hair racing at the chair's hair. Not so much for you, but a great deal for me. Though I have collected many things just once in life, I cannot possess them without their carrying some organic form as well. I cannot myself see but spirits as I pass, and I don't know what proper form ought to be. How is it you can see me then? I can only see your spirit, but mortals are quite distinct to me, and carry a weight we others can only imagine. Is it why you shine so bright in your eyes, and it's a reason for so deadly coveting the which you have as its bright birthright? That brilliance, that flaring light you shine before us, being so quickly against enough. Who will not trade the dull years of eternity to know the force within which a mortal feels, the pain and sorrow, the bliss and joy? You have no idea what I look like then? The waste laughs and expressionless in sound. I know how your spirit appears, when you showed your form matter. Are you your body, or are you yourself? You light up all this with yes and shimmer like a beacon from here to the beyond. The vessel that holds you does not define you, it merely serves you, else how could I see you at all? I consider this initial perspective and find it approve it. It's not the way we mortals perceive others, but I like your standards far better. Where is your collection? I will help you if I can. The wisdoms of the most sparks. Thank you, mortal, thank you. For this service I'll do good in turn. If I can, I will lead you to my collection. I can definitely make a boat out of this. Here it is. All once living but occupied no longer. If I put together, will this not serve to make for me for a body of my very own? Select the head. What will work for a head? The ancient skull, I guess? Well, this one looks like it was once the head of something at least. Select torso. Yeah. Select arms. That will be driftwood. Nope. Select feet. It will be driftwood. Okay. Select arms. Animal bones. Yeah. Select legs. That will be crab capacities. Select legs. Wait. Select legs. Dead fish. Select hands. Crab capacities. Yeah. Select feet. It's because I have to have the part connected, right? And select the feet. Dead fish. Yeah, it looks human enough. My skin crawls upon contact with the cold scales and I set them in place with alacrity. I hope the waist isn't fond of dancing. I've done the best I can with this. The waist hovers over the monstrous form and I have shaped it and then a flash of light vanishes and the horrid assemble rises. The refined figure shuffles to the edge of the water looking down at its own reflection before turning back to me. How splendid it is! How fine and lovely! I see you now, I do. It's true your form is nothing like this one, but I can tell you from my superior proportions that you have made me more handsome even than yourself. I am thankful for your compassion, mortal. I stand your friend and your debt. You may ask me for of a boon, and if it is in my power, I shall provide it. I need to cross the water of the island and the middle of this lake. Do you know how any way I might do so? I know the place you seek. I have nothing that will help you cross the water, but I can at least light your way through the mist. With a hissing popping sound, the whisk conjures a small ball of light which shines brightly through the gloom and mist. Here's a fraction of my spirit, hang it before you, and it shall show your path to the isle. I accept the ball of light gingerly. My debt is not paid, might you find your way clearing forward, mortal. Well, I can at least see my destination even if I cannot reach it. I fall silent again, looking around me for anything that might serve as a raft, when I hear the skittering of many tiny legs rushing towards me. I turn in alarm, unsure where I can seek refuge from whatever approach, but before I can decide whether the greater threat lies within the water or out of it, I hear myself hailed by a familiar teen voice. There you are, human. I see that you have managed to survive. Small wonder, I suppose. Since you were clever enough to escape me with your life intact. Whoop. I endeavor to identify her in the sea of arachnids with nothing around me. Finally, my gaze lights on her familiar markings, and I bow respectfully. Hello, good-natured spider. What brings you here? I suppress the urge to sidle away from the churning swarm of spiders, which now seem to be spinning a dense web in unison. You do, human. The more I consider the matter, the more it seemed to me that be a disappointing, wasteful end, were you to succeed in outwitting me, only to fail in a pathetic way thereafter. My pride smarts at the very thought. She stands apart from the rest of the horde, tapping angrily at any of the dwindling mass that dare to stray too close to her. We are by nature solitary, but I resolve to gather my children together and help you if you still lived. I looked down at her wondering. Generous Spider, you are here to help me? How? She waved her legs at me impatiently. Do not make me regret it by asking the obvious, though we are too small to do so alone in the number we are capable of weaving a sail for you. But it still needs a vessel, which you seem to be lacking. Sweet Spider, can I ride the wind, as I did before? Her voice turned slight. If you wish to make yourself small again, the wind might be able to carry you even that much greater distance. But you will need to consider your present company, both here and in the lake, yeah. It is a very imprecise mode of travel after all. And there is still the matter of my pride. Well, you have used your wits to find a light to guide you, at least, so I'm sure you'll be able to figure out a vessel too. I'm grateful beyond the words, kind Spider. I will do my best not to die a senseless death and embarrass you. See that you avoided, human. We shall depart now, back to our prospective corners. Fare you well. What shall I do it for a vessel then? Woodsman. He emerges from the gloom, a pile of lumber slings on a broad shoulder. Her Majesty complained that I have not cultured her wood with trees. I failed. She said you might be in need of aid with your task, so I have built a bridge over the chasm for you. He seems to be anticipating high for praise and acting generously, however belated it may be. I swallow, pointing out that I have clearly closed the chasm already instead of summoning a one smile. I thank you for it very much, and I should ever need to make my way back across again. That will provide big help indeed. For now, though, is the water I must cross. The crude carved eye blinked down at me owlishly, then looked up the lake on the eye. I see. I don't have enough lumber left to build you a bridge to the isle. I fear. Even if I did, I do not think the other world tolerates such an open door for connecting to their realm. They are not unlike Her Majesty in their particularities, and I have already lost one head. I do not desire to lose another. My shoulders slump with disappointment. That cannot be helped, I suppose. I will not want to lose my head either. The woodsman jerks forward, patting my shoulder in a most human display of sympathy. There now, I dare say I could build you a raft, however, as we have a fine sail already, and a light to guide you away. It will be enough to ferry. So if I don't save this guy and I use the ring instead, this does not happen, right? Before I can do more to live, okay. As before, the war is complete within a short time. Finally, he fits his short mast, okay. There, I have hugged you 3 times now, and also cleared away the wood as I bid her my queen. Will you please with my work? Farewell, human. He turns and shuffles back into the mist. Though I cannot help regarding my makeshift craft with extreme skepticism, I place my little guiding light upon the prow at the same time, pushing the raft into the water and leaping aboard. To my great relief, it moves steady and true, taking enough water to damp my knees and feet, but thankfully not so much as to capsize. The light shining proceeded bright and reflects the green of the isle strongly. Journey's end. The words are murmured, and I caught off guard when a familiar voice answered through the mist. Indeed it is, my Moriko, my very own little sacrifice. The fairy. Dun dun dun. My craft settles against the loose shore of the island and disembark my feet sinking into soft mosses and golden leaves. I'm almost alarmed by the pervasive sense of peace that radiates from my surroundings, feral and overgrown as they are. Welcome, my own Moriko. You have finished your journey and stand now at the gate of my kingdom. I am pleased you have succeeded in your task. I turn my face upwards towards the resonant voice that sounds from somewhere high in the trees, and after some searching, find the fairy, their form draped negligently over a branch-like spreading lichen. No sooner do I meet their watchful gaze than they smile, dropping from their... Okay. I have done as you asked. I crossed the wood, I crossed the air, and now I have crossed the water. The great mouth quirks with pleasure. So you have indeed, my Moriko. So indeed you have, and in return I shall now grant you your life back. One green hand rises, stroking my brow when the hand first traced the sigil. As their touch, I feel my skin prickle with an animal awareness of danger, but it passes away almost as quickly, solo in a gentle wave of honeyed warmth and calm. It does not burn or sear like the hated strangeness of magic, but rather settles upon my skin like a well-worn cloak, something that is not other but comforting and my own. My life, My life is mine, once more. In the past, I never recognized how precious it feels to own one's destiny and self. Although, is my destiny now truly my own? The fairy seems to read my defiance in my posture, racing along my fingered hands in a gesture of playful defense. Now, tell me your tales, or I shall tell them for you. I made the black eyes deepen and turned his... You gave me your name, my Moriko, so allow me to sing you your story. When we first met, you were near dead, and by my magic spared. They shift to faint figures from the mist which drifts in the air between us. I give you your life, my Moriko, and I lend you my bond. Now for the task, let me see. To cross the wood, I laugh and laugh and laugh again at your act of substitution. You gave the woodsman his new head and the queen her restitution. I like the rhymes. And that's one, you proved diligent and resourceful. Through the wood you made your way, the first time now complete, you did not stray from the path, little sacrifice, despite the pixie's temptations. I commend you for it. I should have disliked reciting my magic after taking the trouble of saving you to begin with. And so you leave and attempt the next task. Her web alone is not the danger when it's a spider's lair, and yet you showed your wits alert and escape unsnared. And that's too, you're quick-witted and clever, my Moriko. I'm reading the rest of the text, just excuse me if I'm skipping not reading it aloud because my voice is giving out. I've been reading for a while in this game. 2 tasks complete with one left, the most difficult among them. Easily you might have turned away from the wisp and the silly plight, but instead you offered them your aid and earned from them their delight. And that's 3. You are compassionate and kind, precious Moriko, my sweet little sacrifice. The fairy reaches out to take my wrist, then pulls back their hands sharply. Anger flashes across their face with the violence and speed of lightning, but quickly fades to wry humor. Oh, what have we here, Iron? I fall back at Steve, nodding wearily, and certainly of the fairy smoother what danger they may pose now. I hope you are not too offended by my taking precautions with their life you restored me. If I have a future, I like to be of my own choosing. At this they laughed the residual anger clearly from their brow. Clever Moriko, you are well tough. I dislike being fooled, but I still must respect you for your scheming. You have earned your life already, and I cannot force you over again to my own chosen conclusion. The black eyes gleamed amused. How then shall you end our story, Moriko? Will you discard those hateful iron cords and come with me to my kingdom? Or are you content for us to part, leaving these lands to resume your former life? The flash of their anger is still fresh in my mind, and I hesitate. Were I to remove these chains now, I would stand before you without any protection. I could easily have struck you down well before this, were it in my inclination. Whether it is for you to determine whether you take the risk and then learn answer, or if you are content acting unsuspicious without ever confirming it's true. I chew on my lip, considering my options: the long journey home to poverty, or the uncertain fate of following the fairy beyond the border of the world I know. I guess I'm gonna overwrite this one. I'm gonna keep the iron. I pull myself up as tall as I can stand, meeting the fairy's squinting eyes apologetically. I resolve to leave this place and return to live among my own kind. The fairy lets out a mighty sigh, dispersing the mist entirely, and the verdant green surrounding us dims with disappointment. They reach out as if I to caress my face, but withdraw their hands again sadly, without making any contact. I should have liked to share my kingdom with you, at my side to rule it, Moriko. You carry the best of what you can offer, beyond the wildest aspirations of my own to obtain. But is it not to be? Even if I were to whisper my name to you, I will be forgotten as soon as you depart these lands, and as you do not wish to be forgotten, I shall tell it to you after all. I have not been tricked and twaddled but I cannot fault you for it. Your journey back will be long and arduous, but in token of the favor which I hold you, I shall impart some final advice. I will be grateful for it. As I will expect, little sacrifice, now listen well. Your raft will carry you back to shore, but keep with you the light, and wrap the sail about you. There is a copse of young trees close upon the foreshore. Craft for yourself a cup of bark, filling it with water before you depart. And in your other hand, so like a stone large as might be carried. You will pass back over to the chasm, which the woodsmen have not breached. Once in the wood, again fill up your pockets to the brim with the leaves which litter to the ground. Lastly, make your way back to the road from which you first fell, and you shall then meet with an old friend to ferry you where you please. It all seemed nonsense, but after okay, thank you for all you have done to help me. You are quite welcome, my Moriko. Though mine no more, but you know you have value to be dear, for you have won my favor, and is it a feat no other mortal has achieved. Farewell, we shall not meet again. I return to my raft, okay. So I had to do everything he told me to do. The raft moves of its own accordingly, okay. Now we're running my cloak. I fill up the cup of the lake. Okay, it's doing the thing on its own. To my surprise, it shifts from slate to golden brown, the hard surface turning soft and spongy, and I find myself holding instead of several loaves of bread. A single bite alone immediately sates my grounding appetite, and for perhaps the first time in my life, I know what is not hunger. I arrive to the chasm one more, finding the woodsman crafted a natural appearing bridge of fallen logs which remains steadily underfoot. I don't see the bridge. The spider has returned to her delicate abode, but does not answer when I greet her. Once more I walk to the woodland path, stopping, and again to set on my lantern I fill my pockets full of fallen golden leaves until they are near bursting. They grow heavy as I walk up, and pulling out I find it transformed into a golden coin worth. Yeah, I was expecting that to happen. At last I arrive back to the glade where I find began butterflies trailing among heavy-headed purple trees. I find the wreck of the carriage snow pile against the wall of the cliff. We tumble down. My erstwhile exposed vanish. I clamber up the slope of broken wood, which not only does not shift underfoot, but seems to support me in my ascent. Cresting the edge of the road from which we stumble, I meet with a pair of fathomless black eyes, not unlike those of the fairy, the other horse, which one pulled our carriage now stands patiently, waiting the reins of the ponder hanging from a wooden bit, and a saddle of soft moss and leaves slung across its back. I mount the horse, my pockets now filled with gold, a warm cloak looking out the autumn chill, a lantern to show the way through the forest gloom, and sure of water and rations for my journey. Thank you, fairy. I shall not forget your kindness, and I'm sure it is too unbelievable a tale to ever tell. But I will remember the truth myself, and you shall not be forgotten. The horse thankfully knows its business, for I am no more accustomed to riding than I was driving, and begins our long journey back to civilization, sure-footed and strong. I arrive back with enough power to purchase a life of comfort, my late unlamented spouse granted a memorial to which no one comes, my sisters once more my own. That's what I was waiting for, like, do I recover my sisters? But with the work of our own hands and the fairest gold, our lives are secure beyond anything we ever dreamed. Still, on certain night when the moon is full and the mist turns its light pale green, I heard the echo of the fairy's voice, calling me to a land beyond the edge of all I ever know, and now beyond all I ever shall. Okay, that was the game. Really good. I think I got the good ending. Granted, I had to reload a few times on the spider. Because I feel like if I use the ring, that would lead to a bad ending, right? So I think I got the good ending because I did the right thing. I think I played the game very well. I love the variety of choices this game. There's a bunch of choices and puzzles in this game. I love it. It feels like reading a book, like a really old book story. But it's even better because you're playing it. Like, so it feels so much more immersive. I'm gonna wait for the credits to end before I keep talking. Maybe something else happens. Nope. Okay. So that was Burdock, right? What can I say? What can I say about this game, right? Amazing storytelling. Just to begin with, amazing storytelling. It was so much fun playing it. I feel like the writing was a little slow at the beginning, like just a little bit, nothing really important. But as soon as we begin the test, it goes like really well. And I'm not used to reading this kind of like literature, right, out loud, right? Usually the visual novels have used like a more simpler language. So this was a nice experience for me. I'm not used to reading this like really nice old English type of, right, you know. And the thing, and fellow it's really complex phrases and everything. I was stumbled through my reading. Sorry, I'm not used to this. Uh, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It really felt like actually like reading a book. It's been a while since I read something, right? Like those old tales they give you in like like elementary school or something. Like they give you a book and you read it and it's written like this, and it feels kind of out of place, but it's fascinating. The story was really mystical and like fairy like actually. Uh, really proper representation of the fairies and the gnomes and the pixies and the mermaids. Everything it's so good. It's not like it's not the Disney fairy tale that everyone eats up. It's the actual fairy tale like origins of the creatures, and that's really fascinating. It's really well applied. Uh, I really love the story. Like everything that you have to do has a price, or like you have to do the right thing, and the character is very like submissive at the beginning because it has a rough life, and you have to like give your name to survive. But then you find out that the most precious thing you have it's your name or your liberty, your choice of what to do with your life, and not be like held under someone else. I think that the meaning of the story is some point. The story as like a epic quest. It's like a fantastical tale. It's really also well done. All of the characters are really good. My favorite one is the spider. I love the spider. Yeah, I think this is a pretty solid visual novel, right? And there's a bunch of content I'm sure I didn't do because I didn't die all the times and I didn't use the ring. There's a lot of things to do in this game that I didn't do. So if you guys want to play the game, the link will be there in the description with all the games I have played so far. Please give it a go. It's really fantastic. Like I know you already watched the video if you're listening to me right now, but I recommend you give it a try. Read it for yourself at your own pace. I skip a few dialogues because I was getting really tired of talking out loud. Sorry about that. But yeah, I really recommend this one. 5 out of 5, really. It's not as spooky again, like in a common sense of spooky, but it's like a existential threat, right? And that's also really good horror. So yeah, give it a try. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, developer, for making the game really well written. Like I think this is the best written visual novel I have played. I think maybe Kid was also really good. Like you should try Kid. It should be on my channel too. Like that one was also really good. It's gothic horror, right? So it's also really good. This one is at the very least number 2. So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next indie game stream or whatever thing I decide to do for this spooky Halloween season. I'll see you later.